There we go. Let's see. Making sure. Give y'all just a few minutes to get in here. Hey, Cynthia. So y'all have to forgive me. This is my first time actually doing the live on YouTube. I normally prefer Facebook or Zoom, but I don't know. People seem to have a harder time. A lot of people don't have Facebook, or Zoom has its random issues, right? So you'll have to forgive me if I'm like a little bit stupid in this. I'm trying to make sure I have it all figured out. So let me know if you can hear me okay in the comments over there, and make sure that I'm doing this correctly. Am I doing it right? I think I'm doing it right. So first of all, I am happy to be doing it on YouTube because YouTube seems like it would be more fun. I like the format of this much better. Um, I'm still figuring things out. Thank you, Donna. You can hear me just fine. Yay. Okay, that means I haven't screwed up anything yet. Yay. So, let me know in the comments where you're from, because that always is exciting to me. Okay, that's one of the cool parts about the internet. It doesn't matter where we're from, we can all gather in one place. So I have 3 things that I want to talk to you about today that I thought would be fun, on top of just being a random, Sunday afternoon, and you've got some fun stuff to show you today. I wanted to talk to you about oh, Plano, hopefully you have power um, up there. We got Alabama, New Jersey with less snow than us. Actually, that is one good thing about Texas, is all of our snow is gone, at least down here, down in the south part of Texas. It's all gone now. It lasted for about, I don't know, a day and a half, 2 days, something like that. But so we are good down here. There's still some people. I think people are getting power back. There's still people with a little bit of water issues and all that. But as far as everything else goes down here, we're pretty good. We don't have a lot of issues. I know other people might think differently down here, but we're trucking along. We're kind of used to hurricane weather, which is very different than pipes freezing. I will tell you that. It's very different than pipes freezing. We weren't ready for that. That happened twice in my house. Luckily, my dad and my husband jumped in and were like, the pipes aren't going to burst. We're going to get to them ahead of time. And they got blowtorches and all kinds of things going. I don't know what they did, but the pipes didn't burst and we're okay. But so all of that, we got Canada. We have Jersey. We got Richmond, Virginia, native Texas. Yay. I love Virginia. Oh, I love Virginia. We lived there for 3 years when my husband was stationed in Norfolk. So I know that state very well. So let's, you can keep commenting over there on the side. If you have questions for me, I'm going to try and monitor the chat so I can see them as they come up. If they're a question about something specific, if you put them on all caps, I will be able to kind of catch that a little bit sooner than just the regular type. But so I have 3 things to talk to you about. One is I want to talk to you about the importance of diversifying your crafting skills or your sewing skills, quilting skills, whatever you want to call it. The importance of diversifying it, because I feel like, sometimes we get really locked in to like, this is what I do. I fit in this nice little box, right? I fit in this nice little box. This is what I do. This encompasses all of my skills right here. And sometimes we forget that, like, it's okay to go outside of that box. You don't have to be stuck in there. You don't have to stay in there. You can certainly jump out and go into other things, you know. Another thing that I wanted to talk to you about today is I've been working on some stuff, and I've kind of fallen down on my Instagram game lately. Like, we've had like so many other things to worry about. So I have not jumped in there and then like taken photographs of the stuff that I'm working on. So I can show you some of the stuff that I've been working on. And you know, I don't have like huge quilt projects right now. I just finished one major one, the elephant quilt. If you caught that video, I did a couple videos on it actually. But if you caught that one, I just finished that one. So I'm kind of not taking a break from quilting, but I am I'm gonna work on some other stuff before I jump into another huge quilt project. But and then, you know, if you have any questions, the third thing was if you have any questions, just let me know, and I will see if I can get to them. But you know, it's Sunday afternoon. Let's just hang out for a little bit, and we'll, you know, forgive me if I am a little off in this YouTube game. I'm trying to figure it all out. It's a little bit different than format than Zoom, so I'm happy that I'm actually here and you can see me. So yay. So let's start with this. Tell me if you've ever felt locked in, or you know, that box that I was talking about a minute ago. Tell me if in the comments over there if you ever felt like your skills kind of fit here and you don't know how to expand, how to get into something else, how to you know, where to go, right? If you just kind of feel stuck in your crafting adventures, you know, where we don't know what to do next, right? Like, you can feel stuck, or even worse, you can feel like bored or uninspired with what you're working on. You know, maybe you're not entirely sure what you want to do next, or you've just finished up a project and you're kind of, what should I work on next? What should I do next? You know, I want to know if you have like a Pinterest board, or you know, however you decide to collect all of your projects and inspirations and all that. I want to know if you have some form of like hundreds and hundreds of to-do lists, right? Like, or inspirations, or I really like this quilt, I really like this project, I want to do that, but you know, you're unsure of how to go about getting into that, right? You know, it might be that like you you're not confident enough to try something brand new. You're not sure enough of your skills that you could actually pull this grand, gorgeous, inspirational quilt project off that you have on there. So I want to know, you know, maybe it's a confidence issue. Confidence can like dial down to not wanting to waste fabric, time, or money on a project that you're not sure you can do, right? I think all of us feel guilty about that at one point or another. You see this big grand project and it feels like, I mean, fabric can get expensive, right? Fabric can get really, really expensive. So, you know, maybe you're not wanting to start because it's you feel like you're not going to complete it, right? And then it's just going to be a waste of time, waste of fabric, waste of money. I'm a fabric hoarder too, so I like to find the right project for each piece of fabric, right? So, you know, confidence can also come down to just not starting a project because it scares you. You know, what if you don't know how to do it? What if you get stuck? What if you don't know who to ask in the future? Like, what happens if you just can't finish it? You know, do you want to go spend 6.5 hours on YouTube trying to figure out these skills? What if it just becomes too hard? So, you know, confidence can become an issue when it's not something you're comfortable with. But once you get out of that comfortable and you get, I hate to use the same word, but a little bit more comfortable jumping into that outside zone, outside of your little box, okay, your little box that you're in right here, this is where you know what you're doing. This is where you're like, I got this. This is no problem. It may not be perfect, but I like this spot. Once you branch out into a little bit bigger, it kind of starts to get a little bit scarier, right? You start doing some new stuff. But once you get out into this, all of this area becomes a lot less scary, right? So let me see real quick. I've seen a couple of them go up real quick. We have Seattle. We lived in Seattle for a little while too. In Georgia. Let's see. Diane says, I'm new to quilting. I have started making a rag quilt. I love doing it, but when you're done, you don't know what to start on next. And that is hard. I have so many projects in line that it does become hard to decide what I want to do next. I'm going to show you what I do with that in just a minute and how I kind of solve that. Donna says, I can't use my room. It's a mess and I can't focus on fixing it. People call it your cave. Well, I hate to tell you, there's only one way to fix that, and that's to put your big girl panties on and go clean your space. At least like clean off an area or like work in like a quadrant or something like that. But no, my room's kind of a mess right now too, because I took out a bunch of stuff to show y'all and it's kind of all over the place. Marie says, I don't want to have a project fail and I'm not sure what to start on. Okay, that's exactly what we're going to get into in just a minute, is because when you don't want to fail, you put a lot of pressure on yourself, and it's scary, right? You're like, especially when it comes to like time and money, if you don't have a whole lot of time and you don't have a whole lot of extra funds sitting around in, you know, big fat bank account or anything, you don't want to waste either of those. And I think there's a couple things that you can do to like change that. Okay, first of all, if you enjoy doing it, it's not a waste of time. Okay, if you enjoy pursuing this craft and these skills, it's not a waste of time. Now, when it comes to perhaps it didn't turn out exactly like the picture and you made some mistakes along the way, realize that it's not really a waste of money either. Because in all of this, if you've been to like the quilt shows or something and you see those big, magnificent quilts on the wall, there are some people who have just been in the crafting or the quilting business for like, I don't know, a couple years or something, and they make gorgeous show-worthy quilts. That's not a typical story. Most of those people have been quilting and sewing and crafting for like years and years and years. Okay, so they're not just like jumping in and making these gorgeous quilts. There are those few, which I guess they just have a gift. You know, they make these gorgeous quilts right out the, I don't know what it is. They just make them. I think it was it QuiltCon? I think it was QuiltCon. The overall show winner was this guy who had been quilting for like 2 years. He just thought it looked fun, and he won like the best overall show. And I was floored. This was QuiltCon right before pandemic started. So I guess like QuiltCon 2020 was the one that was in Austin. And I was floored with his quilt. It was gorgeous. But, you know, so you have to realize that like it's not a waste, okay? These skills take practice. Now, it doesn't mean that you have to go and buy the fabrics that are like $20 a yard. You could take yourself to like either you know, Walmart or Joann's or somewhere like that, or you know, whatever quilt shops you have in your area, and buy like the lesser expensive fabric so you don't feel like you're wasting as much money. But in order to become better, you're going to have to practice. And so I'm going to give you some ideas in just a minute. You know, it's really hard because when you are just starting out quilting, it feels like there's a whole lot of stuff that you don't know, right? And I'm going to give you some insight. If you're a beginner quilter, it feels like there's so much that you don't know. There's so much that you have to grow into. There's so many different techniques. There's so much that like you want to play with. And some of y'all can confirm this for me. If you're an intermediate quilter, you've been around the block a few times, you kind of know your way in the sewing room, the sewing machine, and all that, there's still a lot of things that you don't know. And very sorry if you can hear the dogs, they were supposed to be upstairs. There's still feel like there's a lot that you don't know, right? You know, please confirm that for me in the chat over here. If you have been quilting for a while and you still feel like a newbie, sometimes like there's a lot that you don't know. And I have interviewed and I've talked to a lot of expert quilters, people who have show quilts, people who have just been quilting for years and years and years, have made a business out of it, long arm quilters. I mean, all of these really people that I look up to a lot. You know what? When I look at their quilts, they still point out flaws to me. They do. They say, look, right here, the piecing is off. It doesn't come together. It doesn't matter how gorgeous the overall quilt is. They still find flaws in their stuff. So as you progress, you know, keep in mind that there is always going to be something that you are not an expert on, even if you're at like expert level quilter status in somebody else's eyes. There's still stuff that you don't know. So once you kind of figure out that I'm not going to know everything, probably ever, it becomes a whole lot easier to try new things and see what else there is for you to learn out there. You know, if maybe you're not good at this one particular area, but you really shine in this other area. Now, if you never tried that other area, you'll never know. So let me go back real quick here. There's so many projects that Mimi wants to do. Hard time focusing on finishing a started one. And so you have so many started on. That's what your work in progress pile is. And I'm going to touch on that in just a minute because I do that constantly. I have figured out a way to explain it to other people. Okay. Now, whether or not this is actually true, listen here, this is very good information. Whether or not this is actually true, it really makes it sound better. Okay. So I like to start multiple projects. Like you, I have lots of things that I'll have going at one time. So I'll start multiple projects, and I like to, I don't know, say something goes wrong in this one project. I go to a different project that I've already started on, right? So I am technically procrastinating starting on that project while being productive on another project, okay? So then I like to, what happens if something doesn't work out over here and I'm like, I'm kind of bored of this, I'm tired of this, or I'm missing something. I go back to the first project, right? So I am constantly procrastinating or switching up things, but still moving forward in productivity. Does that make sense? I don't know. It sounds really good in my head when I explain it because I like to be productive. I don't know if you've noticed that, but I really like moving forward. I like not being stagnant where I'm at, like most people, most adults and stuff. But it helps me kind of make sense of it in my brain where I don't feel like, gosh, I can never finish anything. No, I'm not finishing things, right? I'm actually doing really well on this project while this project is taking a break, and then vice versa. So it just kind of helps to change your way of thinking in that manner. Let's see, Mia says, and those gorgeous quilts have mistakes that the maker knows about, but the viewer can't see. Exactly. So think about that when you look at your own works, because I used to look at my works and be like, this quilt is just full of flaws. There's no way this quilt should live in the dark. This quilt should live absolutely 100% of the time in the dark. Nobody should see this. While other people were just astounded that like I started sewing fabrics together, right? And let's see, and yes, there is plenty out there to learn. So, once you realize that there's so much out there that you don't know, it can kind of give you the courage to keep pursuing because you realize that you'll never ever reach the top, right? So, I can talk about confidence and courage and quilting and all that for like days and days and days because I know if you followed me on my website or on YouTube or whatever for a few weeks or whatever, you know that that's a lot of what I kind of come back to is all you need is the courage to create something. Doesn't matter what it is, but to create something. If it makes you happy, it's completely worth it. It's worth your time and it's worth your effort if it makes you happy. So, the root of it all comes from being an artist with a creative spirit. And that's what we all are, whether or not you, some people tend to think that artist is like paper to pen, but it has multi mediums that you can work through, such as quilting is completely a form of art. And it's about telling that little bitty voice inside you that it's okay to mess up. It's okay to keep going. It's okay if this particular section is not your strong point. You just have to keep moving forward. So let's talk about what you can do. And I'm going to show you some of the stuff that I've been working on now too, because like I said, I can talk about this for a really, really long time, and I'm going to try not to. My goal was 30 minutes with this live so I don't take up too much of your time, which I'm so glad that you're here with me. But my goal was 30 minutes. I'm not doing so good on time right now. But let's see, Mia also says, don't think of a failure as a failure. Each time you do something wrong, it's a learning experience, which means it's not a failure, it's progress. And that's exactly it. I mean, it took me a little bit longer to say that, but that's exactly it. It's not a failure. It's just a, you know, it's a learning experience. And so, you know, let's say if you, I don't know, one of your things you're self-conscious about, let's say that. One of the things that you're self-conscious about is your basic quilting skills. Maybe you're like really, really new into quilting and you're not sure, like, you don't feel confident about anything that you do, right? You feel like everything, you see the flaws in it. And I know we talked a little bit about flaws, but that doesn't change, you know, how you feel about it. If you see a flaw in there, you're going to see it no matter what anybody else sees. And I still see flaws in my stuff all the time. I could point out so many errors or moments that did not go wrong in my elephant quilt that I just showed all the videos and stuff of. I could point out so many flaws, but the overall one is the quilt is gorgeous and I love it. And I have to focus on that instead of, look where these two pieces did not meet up perfectly because I got sloppy with my sewing, you know. So if your overall fault that you find in yourself is your basic quilting skills, I want you to work on smaller projects, okay? Not only is it going to give you like a quick win and you're going to like not have to spend weeks and weeks and weeks on a project, it's going to still work on those core quilting skills, all right? You can start with mug rugs, coasters. I know not everybody wants like 10,000 coasters in their house, especially quilted ones, but they work really, really good for gifts too. I'm sure you can figure that out. You know, do like a little coffee gift card and like 4 or 5 little coasters and you're good to go with like a teacher's gift or whatever. But they don't have to know that you were just making those to practice your quilting skills, right? You can work on like small bins. I had one to show you. Like this right here. I know you've seen this on my blog before because I have it everywhere. This one is full of like threads and the scissors, the earrings I was wearing last night, and little clips and things, okay? This little bin is a very simple little cloth bin. It just has batting on the inside. But look, I'm working on my quilting skills. I'm working on my piecing skills because I did 2 of them together, right? And I'm working on my sewing skills because all of these still work with your 1/4-inch seams, right? So this project is done in like, let's say the first one I made was about an hour. Now I can do it in probably about I don't know, 20 or 30 minutes. The first one I had a lot of things that I was still figuring out with this size, but you know, this is a really good project to work on if you're not comfortable with your major quilting skills and your beginner quilting skills. You know, another thing you can do is bags. Okay, same concept. You're still working on your sewing skills. You're getting that quick win with this much smaller project. You're not spending as much time, effort, money, and fabric. These can be made. I can make 2 of these with 4 fat quarters. Okay, so, and then I still have a little bit left over, but that's just, I could probably adjust the pattern a little bit, but that's getting into something entirely different. So, you know, 4 fat quarters is not a whole lot of effort or time or whatever, money wise. And then I use scrap batting for this as well. So, you know, work on like a sewing machine cover or a drawstring pouch. That doesn't even come with like batting or anything, but it does work with your regular core sewing skills. It doesn't have the big commitment of a big project is what I'm trying to get at. You know, if piecing and accuracy, that's the same skills that you are going to gain in working on these very small little projects. It also helps break it up, okay? If you work on big quilts constantly, you know, every single time you start a new project, it feels like you're going to start like another like couple month long thing, right? Or you're going to get bored, you're going to put it on your work in progress shelf, and then you're just going to forget about it for a little bit and start on something new. So these are quick wins, and I like that a lot. if you haven't noticed. I like quick wins, things that I can. So get that high of, yes, I finished it. I love it. These little things, I have them all over my sewing room. They're really good to like take all my stuff, fold this down, and take this to the couch with me. I put my extra sewing threads in there too. Let's see. Let me go back to the chat real quick. Your first quilt had 3 corners and a handle. I'm not really sure about that one, but yes, the mistakes make it one of a kind. I completely agree with that. Yes, and oh, the little bag, Diane. I should probably. I know I've done a tutorial on that little bag when I had my retreat last fall, or no, last summer. But I don't think I put one up on YouTube. Maybe I'll have to do that pretty soon because I don't think I put one up on YouTube yet. But it's easy and it's quick. I mean, it's really quick and it's really fun, and it still works on all those core skills without the 3 or 4 month commitment of a big quilt. And yes, I use them for fat quarter storage. Actually, you can see right there is all my fat quarters just kind of lined up on a shelf. But I had, let me tell y'all a quick little story. So I had somebody email me the other day after I put up a YouTube video, and I think it was an unboxing video that they must have gotten it from. But I've kind of been into these smaller projects, right? Because I've realized that my time right now is just not available to big giant quilts, except for the elephant one, because that was a really big giant one and I had to get that one done. But my time is not as available for those big giant projects. And also, I just don't need 100 different quilts in my house. I kind of like to make them specifically for people, and I'm just kind of at a lull right now. So I said that I have been getting into bag making, and I have something to show you in bags too. I have stuff to show you, but I've been getting into bag making, and I mentioned that I would be doing a video on my YouTube about this. And the lady emailed me and said, I thought you were a quilting channel. This is really disappointing. And I mean, it's fine. Like, it doesn't hurt my feelings. If you don't like what I sew, I don't sew to please other people. I sew to please me. And I share all of my tips and tricks that I learned with you in hopes that it does help you out. But, I don't think that any of us are just limited to quilts. Now, let me show you this one I did not make. So, I think that it's important to diversify your skills, which is what's up. And I'm going to show you some of the ways that I've been doing that. Finally, it's show and tell time. So this is one that I did not make, but I'm going to make it. I have the stuff for it, and I'm going to do a video for you about it while I make it too. But look how cute this bag is. Now, I did show this on my Instagram, okay? I did show this on my Instagram. This bag, it's a free pattern. Now, it's a free pattern, but you do have to buy the like this part right here, it's metal. So you do have to buy like these metal pieces. Like with most bags, you have to buy the hardware that comes with them. But the pattern is free. It's a Emmeline pattern. But can you see the inside of this bag? This is one that a friend made for me. So sweet and so thoughtful. I absolutely love it. Oh, that's my coaster in there. I put that in there so I wouldn't lose it. It's got vinyl pockets on the inside that she did for me. And it has this cute little tassel on the side. Now, this is another way that you can like totally diversify your skills. Sew something really cute and handmade. This is Tula pink right here. This is the little stinker fabric. Can you see this? I'm obsessed with this fabric. I love it. Am I blocking the microphone? Am I better now? Sorry. I'm going to try not to talk behind my bags. But so this is the Emmeline pattern. It's free. It's Emmaline, I believe. Emmeline? I think that's what it is. But this is a free pattern. I'm going to be doing a video making this fairly soon because it's super fun. Another thing, this one still has my needle attached to it because I'm not 100% done. But I know bags have kind of been my thing lately. I made this one. I started hand stitching the binding on the back. but I made this one to keep my pieces in, and it's got like this mesh fabric right here, and it's just, you know, plain and simple open. But this is really good because, say this, I just fold it up and take it with me to go, so I can put my pieces that I'm working on, maybe EPP or whatever, you know, English paper piecing or whatever in here. But look at the back. This fabric, I've had this back corner for a while, and I didn't know what to do with it, right? Like, it was beautiful. It was very sewing-y, you know, kind of, and I like the teal and the pink and all of that. But I finally figured out this is a really good project to showcase it with. Now, I will say I did not use a pattern for this because I couldn't find one that I liked. I couldn't find one that did like in the steps in the order that I thought they should go in my head. So if you are branching out, I really recommend finding something else to follow, because if you don't, you're going to end up making a lot of mistakes like I did. But I mean, in the end, the project is really, really cute. I think it took me probably about twice as long to figure everything out with this. And then let me show you. Let me show you these. These are so cute. I have been making so many of these. Do you see this? I have another one I can show you. These are little bitty like box zipper pouches. I can open it right there. You can see the inside, it's got this cute little star fabric. I can get really close without being so in your face with this. But and they're just little box pouches. It has a keychain on one side. I think they're called mini zipper pouches. There is a tutorial on YouTube that's free that I watched with this. It wasn't extremely explanatory, but I was able to figure it out. And now these you can just put on your keys and take like, I don't know, your debit card, or I don't know, mine's probably going to end up with chapstick in it, you know, to take with me, or you know, like those mini little kind bars or whatever that you can just take with you. These, I love these. Also, I just have to point out, can you see this little bitty keychain holder? Isn't that adorable? I found that on Amazon. So I'm going to have to do a little bit more research on this to make sure that this isn't an exclusive pattern by somebody else. I don't think it is, but if not, I can do a little tutorial on that. Now, this is the other one that I wanted to show you. I have my Tula pink keychain here on it, and it's got Tula fabric here. And now the difference in this one, it's still got like the nice little interior lining. I did use batting on this one, so it is a little bit extra thicker. But the difference between these two is one small thing. On the inside, I boxed the corners to where basically you take this and you sew from here to here, which makes your pouch be square instead of flat. So they work the same way. They're just slightly different shaped. I think this one started out as a little bit bigger fabric. But so these are something else that I've been having a lot of fun with. And then, oh, well, why not? I'll show you this one too. This is that little bitty pouch that I showed. Well, not little bitty. This medium-sized pouch that I showed you a minute ago. This is the same concept, just bigger fabrics, right? So these are very customizable into whatever you want to do with them. This one I do use to store like my fabrics for a project, or if I'm doing like foundation paper piecing or something like that, I'll store my extra scraps in here. So, and this one, look at the fun stitching. Oh, can you see it? You see that fun zigzag stitch right there? I used neon thread, and it just kind of accented against that black and white fabric. So this is a really, really fun one too. Now, all of that saying, these projects, they all use the exact same skill set. Okay. There is a slightly different way in putting it together. These have zippers, those other ones don't, but they use the exact same skill set. So if you start to branch out into different ideas, different things that you can do. You know, it doesn't mean you have to learn everything brand new and start over from complete scratch again. You can use the same skills but create different things is what I'm trying to say. So give me just 1 second. You know, so if you're kind of starting to feel stuck or you don't know what to go on next, or you're kind of like perhaps exhausted from a project that you just did and was really trying on your nerves, on your seam ripper, like you had to go to YouTube multiple times, you had to look for tutorials multiple times. You know, if you're looking for something that is a little bit less trying, you know, pick something small. It doesn't have to be this. This comes with a zipper. Don't let the zipper scare you. You know, even something like this would work. And have a quilt here to show you that I was working on, but I think I'm going to save that for just a few minutes. But, you know, try diversifying your skills. Look into something else. I've kind of really gotten into bags. You don't have to get into bags. You can look at creating pillows, you know, make a t-shirt. Quilts are a little bit more challenging than people think. They just think they're easy. It's just the same as like cutting regular fabric. But, you know, I was practicing earlier with my husband, and he was saying that like athletes do this exact same thing. Now, quilting is not an athletic, like, let's say an Olympic event, even though like after you finish a really, really big quilt, you kind of want a little bit of a medal sometimes, you know, like I would like a gold star right here that says, I finished the elephant quilt. It was really, really hard, you know. But athletes train this way. A lot of, I think basketball players do ballet or dance. I know hockey players will do figure skating. You know, they take something that is similar to what their skill set is in, right? But they change it. So if you're feeling stuck, pivot. I don't know if you're a fan of Friends, but Ross's face just popped into my head right there. So you know, pivot. Try something slightly different that is going to keep your same skills, but change the way that your brain works. Let's see. Marie says, I always feel fearful of zippers, but when I do, a zipper is always easier than I thought. Why is that? You are not the only one. I find myself kind of going, oh, I don't really want to do a zipper. But then once I do, it's cute. It's so cute. So yeah, you try and change your way of thinking, shake things up a bit, you know, just kind of figure out how to challenge your skills a little bit. What was I going to say? You know, you can try hand piecing. EPP, which is English paper piecing. That is sewing the little pieces together with the cardboard templates underneath them. You can get amazing detailed stuff. And that you can do from like your couch. You don't even have to be in your sewing room or at your dining table or wherever you're sewing. You can do that at your couch. So you can like spend time with family, watch a movie or watch TV or watch, you know, binge watch some Netflix or whatever, but you don't have to. Now that's English paper piecing. You can do embroidery is another way to kind of challenge your skills where you're in the same realm, but you're not doing the same monotonous quilt patterns that you've been doing before, where you're just doing like block by block, like by block. Hand quilting. If you're interested in embroidery, hand quilting is a really, really good way to get into that. And you don't have to hand quilt a giant quilt, okay? That's what I did for my first hand quilting project. I was like, I'm going to make this giant queen size quilt and I'm going to hand quilt it. And that was not, learn from my mistakes, okay? That was not something I would advise doing. But if you're doing like some little hand quilted accent, like perhaps you want to sew on a label on the back or something like that with a little bit of extra flowers or something around it, that's a really good way to get into embroidery and dip your toes in that without like going full on hand quilting an entire quilt. Let's see. If you're looking at like foundation paper piecing is another really good skill to venture into. Now, foundation paper piecing, crisp, perfect lines on your pieces, okay? So it's going to make your piecing look amazing. That was one thing that I struggled with a long time ago, was my piecing was just a mess, right? And it was hard for me to be confident in my quilts when all I saw were these errors. And when I kind of got into foundation paper piecing, it was a way for me to put a Band-Aid on that area of insecurity. Okay. Now it didn't fix the fact that I still needed to work on some things in my piecing skills. Okay. But it allowed me to see that it was very, very possible to get perfect piecing in my quilts and create these beautiful works of art. Here, I can show you this one right here. This is foundation paper piecing. Whoops, it's upside down. This one is foundation paper piecing, okay? So, and this is just a small little project that I can show you how to make later. But it's, let me do it up close. You see, like in the needle right there, there is lots of pieces in there that if I were to piece them all just regular, that would be a really difficult feat to achieve, right? But with foundation paper piecing, it is a completely different skill set that it still allows me to get those perfect lines. So if I struggled with my piecing, this is an area that I can really hone in on and focus and still achieve the same results. Now, it doesn't change the fact that once you don't do foundation paper piecing, you may need to practice a little bit more on your piecing to get those same, get the corners to match up and all of that. But a lot of that comes with time, okay? A lot of that comes with practice, and a lot of that comes with just developing your skills over time. So I actually do have a course right now on foundation paper piecing that is open if that's something that you want to get into. That's why I was like, oh, I don't know if I should show this or not, because I actually do have the pattern for this in that course. And I know a couple of y'all, I've seen some names float across here that were in this, have enrolled in this course, and you've seen this and you know exactly what I'm talking about. I do have this pattern in the course. And if that's something that you're interested in, I have a video where my big announcement video on YouTube, it has the link to where you can enroll in that course. It's or you can go to www.ISeeStarsQuilting.com/FPP and then the number 2, or I guess that's 2 to you. I can't tell which way is right. So if you're interested in enrolling that, I would love for you to be in that course with me. It's just another skill that can help you with your piecing, another something shiny to go after while you're on your quilting journey. So, all of this exploring, all of these little projects that I've showed you are ways for you to get out of your rut if you're in one, or make sure that you never end up in a rut, continue to improve. That's your main goal in quilting, is to continue to improve. I can guarantee most of you, if you quilted sometime over the past year and a half or whatever, the quilts that you made, I don't know, 2-3 years ago are not what you would have made like right now. So you're constantly improving, you're constantly learning new things, you're constantly moving forward. That's your goal. Now, if you do feel insecure about some areas, it's good to kind of look at why you feel insecure about them and see if you can challenge yourself to improve that. More than likely, it's mostly you that's insecure about them and other people aren't seeing them. But if you do have questions, you're always welcome to email me. I'm always available to answer your questions. Show me your projects. You can go on my Facebook group or write comments down in the YouTube section where I can see them. But mix it up. Small projects, big projects. Like I said, you can procrastinate and still be productive at the same time. And that may just be me, but it really helps my brain feel like I know what I'm doing. I'm being productive and procrastinating at the same time. So I hope that this was helpful for you today. I do have one more quilt that I was going to show you, and I didn't figure out a way to work it into my my main topic here. But this is one that I finished piecing together yesterday while I should have been doing something else. But again, procrastinating while still being productive. It's wonderful. But this is one that I worked on right here. Oh, it's upside down. I don't know that it really has a right way up, but I like it when it goes this way. So here is the top of it, and it works its way down all the way to there. So this is a baby quilt, and oh, hopefully my cousin didn't see that I was going on online on YouTube today, because this is a baby quilt for her, for her baby rather. But that is a pattern from Susie Quilts, and triangles used to scare the ever living daylights out of me when I first started quilting. If I saw a pattern that had a triangle, I just assumed that it had Y seams, and I would never get into it. And what was it? One day I was with a bunch of other quilters, and they were showing me this pattern, and I said, no, it's got triangles in it. It's not for me. No, thank you. And one of them looked at me, and it was, of course, it was like somebody that was like, a really, really good close friend of mine, but said, it's a shape and it's fabric. Why on earth are you afraid of it? Like, what's going to happen if you don't get it right the first time? And, of course, after that, I was like, well, thank you. Now I have to go conquer triangles, because you're exactly right. There's nothing stopping me from creating a triangle quilt other than myself. And so now I've learned lots of different techniques. They don't all involve Y seams. Some of them do, but most of them do not. And if it does involve Y seams, it's not that scary. It's just it's just fabric, right? So I encourage you to conquer your fears and try some new things. And what have you got to lose, right? If you're progressing forward and you're doing new things, then it's not a waste of time. So, in all of that, are there any questions that you have for me? I've kind of kept an eye on that. It seems like I've been talking more than I've been listening. But if you have any questions for me, you can go ahead and leave them there. I'll stay on for a few more minutes, and then we'll go about our day. And hopefully, you're going to get some sewing in today. I'll do a little bit more research on this pattern, because I certainly don't want to step on somebody else's toes. I use them as an inspiration. And I can't even remember the name of the YouTube channel that I looked at this. I'd have to go back through my history. But these are really fun. And I think I want to do a tutorial on these next. So let's see. Does anybody else have any questions? And give a few more minutes for it to come through. I think this afternoon we're probably going to go. The weather's finally, normal here, not snowing and not freezing and not being terrible. And I think we're going to go out and grill some this evening. But let's see. A few more. Started a tree skirt many eons ago, and it's totally hand sewn. Wow. I love tree skirts, because they're one of those quick projects that like has that wow factor, and it's gorgeous and you love it. And every time I think I'm going to make one, and like, this is going to be the ones that my kids remember. This is going to be like, they can't remember a Christmas without this tree skirt, because my mom has one, right? And I can't remember a Christmas without that particular tree skirt and those particular stockings. Like, they're just kind of ingrained in my brain as like memory things. And they usually last for about a year before I see another one or more fabric. And I'm like, oh, I love that fabric. That's the one I want to be known for. And now my kids are like 12 and 9. And I have a lot of tree skirts. So that wanting to be known for that is not going to be my thing, I don't think. But oh well, just move on, keep going. So thank you guys for coming today. I appreciate you sharing your Sunday afternoon with me. We'll have to do this again, and I'll have to show you some more of the stuff that I'm working on. If you have any questions, you're welcome to email me with your quilting stuff. If you're like, I have been quilting for a few years, I don't know what I should work on next, or do you have any suggestions on patterns and stuff? There's so much out there, and I think it can become overwhelming. So remember that your time is not wasted. If you enjoy creating, if you enjoy what you're doing, your time is not wasted. And oh man, I cannot remember her name right now. I got an email from somebody that said something really profound to me that said, you know, instead of talking about taking time for creativity out of your day, which is something that I say quite often because it resonates with me. What resonated with her was giving time for creativity. So it sounds a little bit more selfless. You know, it's the exact same thing, but the way that you reframe it is you are giving time for creativity. You're giving your time to create something. You are giving time to yourself. So I encourage you to take a few more minutes to yourself. Nobody in your house has to know that this live stream did not end. You know, go sew something. Go look through Pinterest a little bit and see if you can find a new project or something to work on. I am going to go see what has happened to the dogs because they're quiet and the kids are also quiet. And that usually means something is up. So I look forward to talking to y'all soon. If you have any questions, feel free to email me. The enrollment for the course is open for another, what is today? Today is Sunday. I think it closes on Friday, but the class is already about half full. So I did put a cap on the class. So if you're looking at FPP, sorry, FPP is what I was talking about, foundation paper piecing. If you're looking to get into that, make sure you check out the ISeeStarsQuilting.com/FPP2, the number 2, like FPP, the number 2, and read some more information on that. I look forward to talking to y'all again soon. I said that, but we're going to say it again. I do enjoy talking to you. So I hope you have a wonderful Sunday afternoon, and I might go sew something. So y'all should go sew something too. So thank you so much. Love y'all. Have a good afternoon. There we go.